And welcome to Kepper Stadium here on Bay Hackle Sports TV. It's the Cardinal Gibbons Crusaders at 9-4 taking on the Bengals of Lucy Beckham here for the Champions Challenge presented by the Wounded Warrior Project here at Charlotte Catholic High School. Alongside Tim Price, I'm Ford Martin. Glad to have you with us here tonight. And Tim, these are two teams that have come from a long ways and here to come out for an exciting event going towards a great cause we've here. And should be a great. We got great weather. It's not too hot, not too cold. And I think we're going to have a good afternoon today.
Yeah, everything's come together nicely. Great facility here at Charlotte Catholic. Two great teams and coaching staffs. Perennial state championship caliber programs in their respective states. Should be a great game.
And then taking a little bit of your players to watch. I mentioned you saw the other one right there. And that we have right here. And Christopher Schwartz in goal. 3 goals against average for him. So he will be in net for the Crusaders. The Crusaders are in white. The Bengals of Lucy Beckham in dark blue as they mate at midfield for the face-off. And we will get underway.
Yeah, big key to a game of this caliber with these teams is the face-off dot. And Gibbons taking the first one on a violation.
So the Crusaders will take over here now. You have Zgonski will hand it back over and will hand it. Switch back around with Brown Parker.
Yeah, and these teams probably not too familiar with each other other than, watching some film, being from Charleston and Raleigh. So this initial possession both ways will be a feeling out process.
Some contact right there, gets it back over and finds Kerner. Kerner will set it back up to go reset. Jukes back inside. Johnsky now sends it out and deflected on the way and take it back and stolen. Put back on the ground, scramble for it, and put back out, and they'll reset now.
Great save to start with for Beckham.
Weiss. In goal for Lucy Beckham is Ryan Weiss. Ryan Weiss now on.
And I can imagine right now on the Gibbons sideline coaching staff is telling, just with one shot on cage, telling guys to shoot the ball high or bounce the ball high. That was a great low save to start the game. So like I said, feeling each other out, that includes scouting the goalies early in the game.
Lucy Beckham 9-5 on the year. The Crusaders 9-4 on the season.
Yeah, and Ford, I'd say throw these records out because of the caliber of competition that these teams play, non-conference, including this game, playing against each other at a neutral site in Charlotte.
All these teams coming up here for an event for the Wounded Warriors Project. And there's a first save, and it's a tough one there, falling down to the ground. And a nice play overall. And a save there by Schwartz. Good recognition. And keeps this one at 0.
Yeah, great save by Schwartz, getting down low on that. And, it looks like both teams want to utilize this grass field, test the earth, shoot the ball low on these goalies. And they've met the test.
Under duress, trying to get back out of it, sends it back around, and they will just do just that. Nice play. As now Lucy Beckham and the Bengals now, they'll take it at midfield, trying to run it back over. So make that Jacob Doig. And now they'll go to work and set this one back up. On the dish there, given out there by McCarthy.
Yeah, Beckham really spreading the offense to start with, and now they've got 2 on the crease. And that can pose some problems for some defenses. They don't see it as much, a 2-man crease, so it can complicate the slide package a little bit. See if Beckham takes advantage of that.
McCarthy to Constable. Sends back out to the far side. And they'll go and reset as Simmons didn't like what he saw.
Gibbons very quick to slide.
McCarthy shot!
Another low shot.
And a nice save is made on net.
Story of the game early on is the goaltending for sure.
2 shots on goal by both sides. 2 saves. As you mentioned, a goaltending battle so far. 2 high-danger shots that are saved and keeps us 1-0 with 8:10 to go.
Gibbons showing a little bit of a 10-man ride with Schwartz just out of the goal a little bit.
And a high floating pass, sends it back over. Can't connect, but it's still a scramble for it. Schwartz will come out of net, and a pickup on it and a whistle.
And Beckham countering the 10-man with the long pass. Don't be surprised if you see one of these goalies, or the Beckham goalie, Weiss, put a shot on cage to counter that 10-man ride. Call it maybe a 9.5-man ride, because Schwartz wasn't quite, that aggressive out of the cage.
Simmons looking for an opening right there. He's got Johnsky right all over him. And it falls down, a huge hit down.
That's none other than Nick Leonard, short stick defensive midi.
So Schwartz will come out of net. Now the Crusaders will go to work. And nearly stolen right there along the sideline. A whistle, and it's going to go right back to the Bengals, who have pretty much controlled the start of this one.
And that's 2 failed clears to start with for Gibbons up that box side. You'll hear a lot of people, whether it's in a broadcast or coaches, say clear the ball away from the box because there's so much traffic in and out of the field. The things are changing in that area of the field so quickly. So maybe look to see Gibbons clear that ball away away from the sideline.
High flying shot goes out of bounds, but the Bengals will still hold on here. They'll go back and reset. McCarthy now at the point.
It looks like Gibbons is in his zone. Kind of surprised to see that this early on, but that could also be just a little bit of a change up.
Shot that goes wide and goes out of bounds, and the Bengals still will hold on to it here.
Now they look to be back in man off the end line. Shows you a lot of faith in the defense if in fact they were in a zone there, switching from zone to man, and expecting their defense to process within a possession, changing defenses like that.
Dick will send it over to McCarthy. McCarthy shot, he scores!
That's a great take by McCarthy.
Ryan McCarthy, another look at this one. Wrists this one out.
Not afraid to dodge the long pole. A lot of teams will elect to go, from up top only on the short sticks and bury the pole, as they say. But McCarthy took it right at Gibbons' long pole with a nice lefty shot down the alley.
Getting that one past Christopher Schwartz, who's one of our players to watch. A tough goalie to score on, but just over 3 goals against average.
And what do you notice? High heat. They changed it up. Both goalies look good on the low shots. Getting down on the ground, and the first one to go is that hunting the crossbar.
Kerner now to Dolan, then back out to Parker, and then back over to Johnsky.
Dolan's a player to watch for Gibbons. Lefty sniper.
Here's a shot. That one goes wide and trickles out of bounds with 5:21 to go. Bengals on the board right now, 1-0 here at Charlotte Catholic High. There's a scramble for it.
It's going to be an in the
and
crease.
A whistle.
That's a high risk, low reward offensive possession. That feed right onto what a lot of coaches refer to as the mirror. Who's mirroring the dodge. Usually that's where the slide comes from, but very tempting to throw that into a tight window. Ooh, risky pass back to Schwartz.
Turnover. He takes it back over is going to be Cardinal Gibbons now, and they'll set this one up here now with Parker.
You saw Schwartz handle that ground ball, get it out of their defensive zone. That's a senior goaltender, college-bound lacrosse player who's not only going to stop shots. And here's Dolan.
Dolan puts it in and gets them on the board.
Dolan.
Another look right here.
A little unorthodox left-hander comes back instead of switching. Or he does switch to his right for the finish.
And goes just right under and gets them on the board for the Crusaders with 4:26 to go. And that's a big one right there. As we saw kind of a little bit in the beginning here so far, it's been the Bengals have pretty much, for the most part, controlled the game. And a nice possession there by the Crusaders to tie things up.
Dolan usually earns his living about 12 yards from the goal, but there he scores right from the doorstep.
Taking this one up is Wilson. And a whistle and out of bounds.
Wilson with the face-off win, statistically, but the takeaway check for Gibbons. And that's a great way to counter a good face-off guy, is to defend, and make him make a play with the ball after earning possession.
Here's Denny now. Denny now will run back over the far side, send it back along behind the cage. Kerner now will hold as he's under the pressure there from Evans. And they'll reset back at the point. As now Denny will have this one. He'll roll right. Wrist this one on the bounce pass shot and goes in. Bounces that one past the goaltender of Weiss, and what a shot.
And that's exactly, you said it. That's a great shot. That's a coach's dream right there. Old school, high bounce shot. So hard to save for a goalie, especially on this surface where there's a little bit of unpredictability. Not like, both these teams used to playing on turf probably more often.
So good zone time on the Bengals side, and ends up resulting in back-to-back possessions and a goal. And now the Crusaders will have their first lead of the game.
And two of the three goals coming off of just straight alley dodges, winning the matchup by middies and taking good shots on the run. One thing that I do notice is that these are team offenses. These are six guys out there who can all play offense for both squads. So dodging off the catch, to defenses that are in recovery, that's going to be a premium. That's going to create some offensive openings, as opposed to one guy holding the ball, dodging, and five watching.
Hankins will bring this back behind the net and try and set something up right here as they get a play set up. Hankins now will roll to his left, back across. Has one, rips this one on net. That one may have went off the post.
McCarthy that time showing his right hand with a good shot and a equally good save by Schwartz.
Transitions back the other way. A shot. Oh, and a ripper! And he scores. What a shot. Right there from just inside by Dolan. And puts it through, and they extend the lead to 3-1.
Well, what do we say? That's where he makes his living, from 12 yards. Lefty sniper. Had the goalie a little bit off guard, a little bit, guessing. But again, I'd say maybe not bar down, but another high shot that goes against one of these goalies.
So 2:23 to go. Have a quick break, and a timeout is called. I believe it's by Cardinal Gibbons, so they'll take it right there. So a really good start. It actually all started out pretty much for Lucy Beckham kind of being in charge of this game, and then it ended up resulting now here in the later part of now the Cardinal Gibbons, and kind of took a little bit to kind of get adjusted. They have, and here they are at sitting the lead to make it now 3-1.
Yeah, and it's a game of runs, and right now Gibbons is on a run, and they're they kind of solved the goalie situation early on. I think one of the things that you're probably saying in the huddle right now is that one of their go-to guys, Conley, has been very quiet, and they're still up 3-1. So that's a plus, because he's going to get going, and he's going to start getting involved in the offense.
Give us a chance to look at our head coaches for tonight. Cardinal Gibbons right there with Gordon Galloway. And head coach for Lucy Beckham and the Bengals, Parker Farragon, are your two head coaches for tonight going to battle, as both teams starting to break their huddle here just about now and going to get the last 2:24 remaining in this first quarter. 5 shots on goal for the Bengals. Crusaders also at 5. 3-1 your score. Crusaders on top over the Bengals.
These two programs, a little bit of study and contrast in terms of Lucy Beckham being a relatively newcomer. They've built things up down there in Charleston very quickly. Became a state championship contender in the first few years of their program, and Gibbons has been a powerhouse for years and years in North Carolina.
Face-off one now here by the Bengals. So we'll set this one back up.
Again, surprised to see how both teams, such high caliber, both clearing the ball on the box side pretty regularly. See a lot of teams try and go away from the box to avoid that traffic.
Back behind net. Rolls right. Back up. Thought about it there for a second was Dick, but they'll hang it back out and give over to Hankins now from the far side.
And Beckham, the last 2 possessions have gone with a steady diet of invert offense, trying to isolate short sticks. Great look.
Oh, Hankins.
Inside.
Oh, what a save inside, and a high danger slot shot. And what a save there by Schwartz. Just inside, it was a nice dish there by Hankins. And what a save by Schwartz.
Yeah, Schwartz using everything, getting a leg out, using everything he can to make that save. And that's a confident goalie. You could see it in his body language. You can see it after the save, collecting that rebound and clearing the ball.
And a turnover right there as that one goes out with just under a minute to play at 59.8 to go.
That's definitely going back to the save by Schwartz. That's a what we could refer to as a juice play. Just gets your sideline hyped up and really takes away from the momentum and the morale on the Beckham sideline. But it's early and it's still close here.
Setting this one up right now with Dolan now. He already has a shot. That one's blocked. And taken back the other way here on transition. Here is Evans now. As Evans will hand it back over. As he'll give that one to Constable. He'll run there behind net. Spin moves back out of it. Tries to cut to the net. Tries to cut inside. And Schwartz may have had a hand on that one. Run for it. And it looks like it's going to stay here with the Bengals.
Short time situation. They've got to match up.
10 seconds to play. Got to get a quick shot.
Moving pick.
And it goes back the other way. So 8.4 left here in the first quarter. They're going to have to get a quick one here and not going to be able to have that happen. So with 3 seconds left, back the other way, a far shot. And time will run out. And that will do it for the first quarter of play. Crusaders score 3 in a row to make it 3-1 here at Keffer Stadium. Crusaders on top, 3-1. We welcome you back here to Keffer Stadium here for the Champions Challenge Wounded Warrior Project as we get the second quarter underway immediately. Here to meet for the face-off alongside Tim Price, I'm Ford Martin. We're glad to have you here with us tonight and battle for it here as they try to stick for it, scramble for it inside, and tries to kick that one alongside to try to keep it in. And they still scramble for it.
Down in the shadows.
Bounces back out and race for the ball, and they'll finally get it there and running back the other way. How about nice play there?
Yeah, McCarthy's been a real bright spot for Beckham. Showing both hands, playing well between the lines. I know that's one that Flynn Wilson, the faceoff guy for Beckham, wants back. Won it back to himself and just couldn't pick up that ground ball with a little bit of pressure on his backhand.
Far pass back over to find McCarthy.
This is, it's early in the game, but I think this is a really important possession for Beckham, that they really take their time, and they're going to lose it. It's going to go the other way. Interference off the ball. Kind of how last possession of the first quarter ended with the interference call. Shades of the Iowa-UConn women's basketball game last night. The game ends on a moving pick.
So Johnsky now will hand it back over and finds Dolan, who already has a goal tonight.
Johnsky's been quiet as well. He's a go-to guy for Gibbons. Great between the lines, but great
Sean
finish.
Puts it on and scores. So 4 in a row after Lucy Beckham took the early lead. Cutting to his left there was Brown Parker and just skips it right past the netminder there of Weiss. And
the left-hand finish by Parker Brown. A little bit of a leaner, drops that right shoulder and finishes high. Again, Gibbons has had success shooting the ball high on Weiss after initially testing him low.
So a couple subs coming in right here to kind of get set up for the face-off with 10:29 to go.
And just as I said, last possession was critical for Beckham. They're kind of in the danger zone right now. Again, it's very early, and they've got a great face-off guy in Flynn Wilson. But they're in danger of letting this run away from them if they keep letting Gibbons clear the ball, get their hands free on offense, and keep this run going. No backup for Beckham. That's going to be white ball.
Yeah, that's going to go a shot that just went wide, where Schwartz was the first one to it. So now the Crusaders, once again, can they extend their lead once more?
The Beckham offense having a tough time just developing rhythm offensively. They're winning face-offs. They're clearing the ball effectively. They're getting possessions behind the goal. Maybe this will get something going.
And just holding it inside. Nice play after nearly turning that over. They'll take back over once again is the Crusaders, and rolling that one out of it is Trevor Cooling, and now they'll go ahead and get set up here. Cuts back to the left side. Brown Parker. Parker will hand it over to his line mate of Conley. Just inside, trying to get a stick in there, and they did, but try to hold this one in here. No, they'll take it back over. Nice play as Leland now will take over. Oh, nice pass. Gets over just through his hands and just lost control of it there was Brett Brosey. They're still going to run for it there, trying to get back out of it, and a late trip. And it's going to go back the other way. So setting up here now will be the Bengals. They'll set this one back up. McCarthy now at the point. He'll move right.
Beckham's been very deliberate on offense and setting up. Would like to see the ball move a little bit more, before they really attack the cage. Get this Gibbons defense stretched out a little bit. Here's McCarthy again. Clearly their go-to guy on the offensive end.
Just getting a stick inside there, and now we'll keep possession as they were close enough to it there. Enzo Shires, man, that one goes left. Looks like he didn't get exactly the cleanest shot he thought he was going to get right there inside, but goes past and
yeah, and
hold possession.
He came out of that in a good position with the inside roll off the double. Elected to go near pipe, and Schwartz thwarted that one.
Goes through the hands right there of Simmons, but he'll control possession. Hankins inside and a whistle. And give a holding.
One of the things you see on that last shot by Brendan Dick, listed as a midi. Beckham's playing a lot of invert offense, and one of the things that happens there, here they're in a big little situation trying to change matchups. One of the things that you see when middies invert sometimes, they're not accustomed to finishing around the cage. They're accustomed to being out in front, 10 yards and out, shooting on the run. And there, Brendan Dick just was right on the doorstep and just didn't take his time.
Johnsky now will take over and set this one up with 7:24 to go. 9 shots on goal for the Bengals, 6 for the Crusaders. The Crusaders have the goal count here at 4-1. And here's a shot. That one is deflected en route out of bounds, and they'll hold possession here on this end.
Johnsky putting a lot of work in early, not only on the offensive end, but between the lines, clearing the ball. High point commit will stay in state.
Dolan. As that one just trickles out of bounds. 6:52 to go.
We'll call that a possession shot. Dolan just keeping the defense honest and the goalkeeper honest.
Oh, nice dish inside and scores. Zachary Kerner puts it in. And Kerner extends the lead again and makes it 5-1.
That's a great heads-up play by Kerner. A little fly-by pick. Shows pick, and then, goes to the goal line, little over-the-shoulder catch and finish there.
And I believe we got a quick timeout is called. And again, thank you for joining us for tonight's Bay Hackle Sports Game of the Week. Bridge is presented by Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliances, Acosta Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, and the Downer Law Firm, your hometown legal team here on Bay Hackle Sports TV. So, quick timeout is called right now. 5-1 Crusaders lead over the Bengals at 6:43 to go. Now look at the shots on goal. Bengals at 9, Crusaders at 8. 5 saves for the Crusaders, 4 for the Bengals. A lot of back and forth action here now. Looks like the Bengals are starting to at least get a little adjusted now, but the Crusaders are not lifting off the throttle here. They're still full cylinders right now.
Yeah, and that's the difference in the game right now is just finishing. The stats are very even. Shots on goals, saves. At this point, Gibbons has finished a few more of their opportunities. Have played with a little more pace on offense than Beckham. Beckham's winning face-offs, getting those extra possessions. They just need to start converting on them.
So as they meet back again here at midfield. 6:43 to go.
Gibbons putting Manuel the long pole on the face-off. Hard to miss him with those pink cleats. It just looks like that's going to be what they do for the rest of the night and try and muck up face-offs as they're doing here.
A hard hit there, and McCarthy got a stick in there to get it back out, and they'll go ahead now and get set up as Brennan Dick now will take back over. A hard hit. Brennan Dick will keep possession. Nice spin move back inside. Tries to cut, falls on the ground. And now it looks like they'll take back over the white jerseys. The Crusaders, they'll take over. Springing across is Johnsky. Johnsky's now. It's a shot. That one goes far right. and they'll hold possession.
It's a well-timed check right at the end. That looked like a goal for sure for Johnsky as he split right to left in the middle of the field. Beckham defender got a check on his hands just as he released that shot.
Spin move back out of it here. Brown Parker will hold and give this one back out. Johnsky. Kerner. Oh, nice dish back inside and a score. Oh, what a tic-tac-toe play, and gives it over to Trevor Cooling, and Cooling puts it in. It's a little delay right there on that shot.
Yeah, and that goal is all about the catch by Cooling. A name very familiar with Cardinal Gibbons. A lot of state championships, between his predecessors, his brother and his cousin before him. Beckham reeling a little bit.
The Bengals here, they've started to pick up on their face-off wins, but just cannot use that to turn to a bunch of zone time where they can end up getting shots on net and into the goal here.
Yeah, credit to Flynn Wilson, just plugging away. Such a hard worker. Had a chance to coach him a couple of summers ago. He's just tenacious, and his motor is incredible. Never lets up. And they're throwing a lot at him. They're putting a pole to start with. They're pressuring. They're locking off. Trying to win the face-off after the initial draw.
McCarthy scores! And McCarthy, a good zone time to set things up, and from about 10 to 15 yards out, kind of set up his shot and just goes right over the shoulder of Schwartz and gets Beckham now their first goal since early in the first. They put it at 6-2.
Yeah, McCarthy's really impressed me with his game, especially in the offensive zone. Has both goals for Beckham at this point, and what's most impressive is, one on the run with his left hand, one setting up from deep with his right hand, showing a little bit of variety.
So something we've been talking about, face-off wins. Lucy Beck and the Bengals have pretty much dominated the face-off zone.
Yeah, Gibbons relying on the violation there to get the win. They'll take it. They've had trouble solving the Flynn Wilson riddle at the face-off dot.
See how the Crusaders respond now here as they get set up. Back alongside of Conley. Conley thought about it, sends it back outside.
Looks like Beckham has dropped into a zone.
Malone is.
Good heads-up play.
Oh, and a nice hit back over to McCarthy, who just had that goal moments ago. Here's McCarthy streaking across. McCarthy shot, he scores! McCarthy with back-to-back goals on back-to-back possessions. And they get the lead, and they knock it within 3.
We'll see McCarthy sensing his team needs him, needs everything he can give.
So puts it at 6-3. So after 6 goals in a row by the Crusaders, McCarthy answers with back-to-back goals. And I'll say the Bengals have dominated the face-off zone so far, and they back-to-back times the Bengals will lose it on a violation.
Yeah, now if this was being played at the college level, Flynn Wilson would be in jeopardy of receiving a penalty for face-off violations, but under the Federation rules, they don't track violations. Just loses possession, and there's probably something that the refs have told him in his approach, in his stance, to fix that they're going to call, because they've just called them back-to-back on pre-whistle violations.
Carter now gets it back over. Oh, behind the pass. Try to go behind the back. Shoulder shot. But that goes wide and far right. Out of bounds. But you got to respect the
I don't know if offensive coordinator Chip Mayer respects it right now. He'd rather have the possession. But yeah, time and place for that. And, the behind-the-back option definitely improved the shooting angle.
So 3:05 here to go, 6-3. And Constable will take over.
As hot as McCarthy's been in kind of keeping Beckham and the offense in this game, I think it's important that we call somebody else's name, that they get someone else involved, get somebody else in the stat sheet, just to stretch this Gibbons defense a little bit. Because I would imagine McCarthy's getting the pole the rest of the night.
Hankins now gets inside. Oh, nice touch pass and scores. Brendan Dick on the dish there by Hankins. A little touch pass and score. Streaking across just inside the slot. Gets that one past Schwartz. And it makes it 6-4.
That's just good offense right there. Head up dodge, draw the slide, movement off ball. Great job by Brendan Dick to slide into that slot.
So puts it now at 6-4. The Crusaders had a 6-1 lead. The Bengals scored the first goal of the game. Crusaders scored 6 in a row, now 3 in a row by Lucy Beckham and the Bengals.
That's one of the things about this event and the teams that are playing in this event. It's basically a showcase of state championship caliber teams, both at the private public level in North Carolina and South Carolina. My guess is that we'll have, come May, we'll have multiple state championships that come out of this event. And with that being said, don't count Lucy Beckham out. They go down 5, but they keep plugging away, keep winning face-offs, and we got a ball game here.
Good pressure here. Schwartz under duress. He gets that one back out. Finds Manuel as they'll go and streak across. Take out his Cooling. Here's a shot. That one just goes. Nice save there by Weiss.
Again, Weiss has been all over everything low.
And turnover back the other way. Tries to get a scoops that one up. Scramble for it. Kicks back out. Finally able to pick that one up. Bengals take over, but a whistle is called. And a timeout, I believe.
Both
taken out by the Bengals.
Were hunting a timeout for whoever picked that ball up.
So 1:03, that 1:04 remaining here in the first half of play. Crusaders 6, Bengals 4, and it's really just, it's looking like a game of momentum. You saw the Bengals, they had something started, kind of got things going. Crusaders score 6 in a row. All the momentum was on their side. Bengals couldn't really get any zone time. And then all of a sudden, you just saw the Bengals, now they've started to dominate on their side, and they've scored 3 in a row to get within 2.
Yeah, and just like I was saying about an event of this caliber with teams, with the pedigrees that these teams have, it's a little bit like a heavyweight bout, punch and counter punch. And credit to Beckham. They took a couple hard hits from Gibbons, and they kept punching back. And, here we are at 6-4 with a minute left in the first half. Speaking of games of runs, right before this game, Cannon took a win over Green Level, and that was a game of runs. Green Level up 9-5 at the half, and Cannon came back and won in the second half.
1 minute to play here. And Schwartz able to cover that one just inside the circle. Nice pass back over.
I'll be interested to see. I know at times Gibbons has split time with their goalies this season. I don't know in a game of this magnitude if they will, platoon goalies, or if we'll see Schwartz come back in the second half. I mean, he's played great. If they go to another goalie, it's pre-scripted. But he's got a hot hand right now.
Trying to get last shot here, possibly. It's a shot. That was saved by Weiss inside on a high danger opportunity, and they'll lob this one back out. Taken up, and a whistle. So he looks like maybe trying to. Save is made right at the horn by Weiss, and that will do it for the first half of play, and that's going to do it. 6-4 for the first half. Crusaders on top. We'll be right back with the Donner Forum halftime report. And welcome here to the Downer Law Firm Halftime Report alongside Daniel Green. I'm Ford Martin and Danielle. We just want to, first of all, thank you for being here for us. It's a big event for the Wounded Warriors Project. Let's go ahead and start a little bit about the Wounded Warriors Project. What is it for those that do not know?
Wounded Warrior Project was established 21 years ago to fill that gap when warriors came back from the battlefield. And it started off with a simple concept with a backpack with toiletries, because when veterans came back, they didn't have anything at the hospital. So that's how it started, with a backpack and a promise. And our mission is to honor and empower wounded warriors.
Now, you were overseas. Tell us a little bit about your story and your venture to the Wounded Warriors Project and kind of learning about this. I was able to read a little about your story beforehand. If you can kind of share with our viewers a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I decided to join the military when at the age of 26, Army, military police. 16 months after I enlisted, I was on a rooftop patrolling in Baghdad, Iraq, when a rocket-propelled grenade separated my left arm. I was introduced to Wounded Warrior Project when I arrived to Walter Reed, where they provided me with that backpack with toiletries. And for the past 21 years, they have grown. They've gone from the backpack program to mental health services, veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, military sexual trauma. They offer services to not only the veteran, but caregivers, dependents, and like I said, just innovation. Whatever veterans need based on their survey, that's the services that they provide.
So now, after everything that kind of you went through with the whole process, what are you doing now to kind of help people that are just getting into the Wounded Warriors Project now, to kind of help them get through this entire process?
Currently, I am a speaker with Wounded Warrior Project. It's called Warrior Speaks, and I travel the country to raise awareness, educate the public about what Wounded Warrior Project does. We don't receive government funding. 72% of our funds that are raised goes towards programs and services. Our programs are free, and I encourage people to go to woundedwarriorproject.org. That's woundedwarriorproject.org to find out how to get involved.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time today. We really do appreciate going to a great cause. We thank you for your
Absolutely.
service. And we'll be right back here from the Downer Firm Law Halftime Report.
All right, thank you.
Back here at Keffer Stadium here at Charlotte Catholic High School. So far it is Crusaders 6, Bengals 4, as we're just over 3 minutes before we get the second half underway. And Temper Ice, great first half of play, a lot of back and forth momentum was kind of a little story there that we had. The Crusaders Crusaders had it all in the first part of the game, and it's been all Bengals ever since.
Yeah, Bengals went into the half, with the momentum for sure. Really just capitalizing on opportunities, which is what they weren't doing early in the first quarter. Looks like we maybe will see a goalie change, by Gibbons, as I alluded to. So that could be something to keep an eye on. But really a great first half in terms of pace of play and energy, with two teams that wouldn't see each other otherwise, if not for this event.
Now, when we talk about a goalie change, obviously we go by like who's playing what, but is this pretty common that we kind of see goalie changes that happen like this? We usually see somebody that stays for the full game. And what kind of goes into decision making on something like that?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a great question, and I think at the high school level, not very common, unless a goalie is struggling, and that was not the case with Chris Schwartz. He was the star of the game, in my opinion, star of the first half for Gibbons. But these kids play all summer, all fall with club, and at the club level, they often share, they split time. So it wouldn't be too shocking from that standpoint. And Gibbons is a team that's historically loaded with talent. So I'm sure they have two great goalies on the roster.
6-4 your score. We'll be right back for second half of play on the Donner Law Firm Halftime Report. For your score. Cardinal Gibbons 6, Lucy Beckham at 4. The Bengals and the Crusaders here at Charlotte Catholic High for the Champions Challenge here at Keffer Stadium, presented by the Wounded Warrior Project. I want to thank Danielle Green that joined us there for halftime to kind of talk a little bit about her background and her story, and it was very interesting to kind of hear from her and kind of talk with her a little bit. So we really do appreciate her taking a couple minutes and kind of talk with us about that. Second half, what do we kind of expect here? What do you most want to see, and as we get the second half underway?
Well, I think it'll come down to what we're going to see here first, face-offs. If Beckham can keep getting possessions, that's going to keep him in a game against a loaded Cardinal Gibbons team. That showed what they're capable of in stretches. And one thing we haven't really talked a lot about with Gibbons is their defense. The defense is playing well to hold a state championship caliber offense to 4 goals in the half.
So as we get this one started, whistle is in. So as we talked about in the halftime, we have a goaltender change, at least for the team in white and the Crusaders. They're going to bring in a net Grant Alexander.
Yeah, Alexander Jr. One thing to keep an eye on, and I'm sure was being echoed on the sideline for Beckham, is that they're seeing a righty goalie now as opposed to a lefty goalie, and that can change some angles and some aspects for the shooters, especially for someone like Brady Dolan, over on the left side shooting on a righty goalie is gonna change his view a little bit.
And then you have over for the Bengals, Weiss is going to stay in net. So Ryan Weiss will stay in net
Yeah,
for the Bengals.
Weiss played well also in that first half. I think Gibbons did, see a little bit of some daylight shooting the ball high against him. So we'll see if they continue that trend. And really the story for the Beckham offense is Ryan McCarthy. He's been really fun to watch.
McCarthy, who has a few goals here so far, had those 2 back-to-back possession goals, scoring the 3rd and 4th goal. A spin move there. Thought about it for a second there was Hankins. And getting a stick inside. Aggressive defensive play there by Cooling. And Katsai has got loose, and that one's deflected and out of bounds.
And Beckham looks to be in a little bit more of a traditional 1-3-2 counting from behind the goal offense, where they were heavily inverted in that first half.
And you can see right there the sun just right on there with your goaltender. It's got to be really difficult in this part of the game, especially this in the second half.
Yeah,
trying to defend a lead with the sun right there in your
coming
eyes.
in off the bench. Definitely a tall task.
And Streaking Crawls had a lane there, chose not to take it. But how challenging is that for a goaltender, and how do you coach that for something where when you do have the sun in your eyes like that and trying able to see, how do you coach that?
Well, defensively, you talk to your defense and you talk to them about, what kind of shots do you want to allow? What do you want to prevent? Whether it's, getting out a little bit more on a shooter on the right side of the field because the goalie's looking into the sun. It's also an issue in the clearing game, where you throw.
That was deflected there on the back behind shot.
Almost a
there
highlight
by
goal
Trevor
for
Cooling.
Trevor Cooling, yeah.
That shot and a save is made by Weiss.
Yeah, off the designed inbounds.
And
for
there's
Brady
McCarthy.
Dolan.
Look at the speed of McCarthy. Takes that one upfield. There's a shot and scores. And I believe that was by Austin Constable on the assist for McCarthy. Constable now rips that one past Alexander.
A great fundamental shot, just using the earth on a new goalie, as we talked about, coming in off the bench. And a great, fast break run by Beckham, really evidence of, the coaching on their sideline. This is definitely something they put time in practice, running fast breaks. Most teams do. It doesn't always show in the games, and that was a great read by Constable. Seeing that there's no slide coming to his hands, and as the point man, you've got to make that read. All right, do I make the one more? Do I skip the ball, or do I become a shooter? And he read that quickly and became a shooter, and got them a goal closer.
4-0 run here by the Bengals. Crusaders had a 6-1 lead. And now the Bengals are now within one. We'll see what the Crusaders can do here on this possession. And that shot is saved by Weiss. Weiss struggled out of the gate early on, and now that's 2 big saves in a row on back-to-back possessions there for the Bengals.
Yeah, and Dolan wants that one back. He is a low-to-high shooter traditionally with his feet set, but there he was coming off of a screen on the crease on the run, and it's not as easy to place your shot like you'd like to when you're on the run.
And it just looks right now, as far as just the passing and just everyone's in the right spot, at least for the Bengals, that they're just in a groove here as far as knowing where they got to be, and they're just making their passes right now how they got to make it.
Yeah, and after scoring that goal in the fast break by Constable, he wants some more, but I think the Bengals have to work for a better shot than that in a one-goal game. And you might say, hey, there's a lot of time left, and absolutely, but this looks like it's going to be a game that's going to go, despite any runs, that's going to go down to the wire. So they really have to maximize their possessions with better shot selection.
Broke his stick on the play. Take it back up now. The Bengals on transition. Here they come. Sends it back out. Almost a near type of shot. Right inside. Oh, and it goes wide left. Alexander may have had a hand on that one.
And Constable does a good job at the point on fast break there. He read, that the defender was coming with a little bit of an undisciplined approach, and he drove right through that stick and got a shot right on the doorstep.
So now they'll set this one up. Take it back over is Dick. Just behind the net, Dick will hold back up. Here's McCarthy. Thought about it, back over to Dick.
And again, Cardinal Gibbons, and there's the son we talked about.
And right through the hands, yep.
Yep, and that's something that, it's communicated after the play, but that's something that has to be communicated before the turnover. Get a reversal call on the offense and move the ball the other way. Traditionally, defenses are known to be the real communicators on the field. There's always a lot of chatter from the defense, but as a coach, I always encourage the offense to be more communicative on the offensive end of the field.
And a flag is down here, so just a moment, they're going to be a man up. Takes this one back in and puts it in. So that will stop the run by the Bengals of 4 in a row. And the Crusaders will get back on the goal sheet. And puts it at 7-5. So Johnsky there will get credited with the goal. And let's extend the lead back out to 2 for the Crusaders.
I'll tell you what, Johnsky's not someone you want to let get hot. He's been doing everything out here for the Crusaders, in between the lines, playing defense, clearing the ball. But on the offensive end, you don't want to let him start feeling it because he's a tank, and if he gets it going, Beckham's going to have their hands full.
That's a nice cut there by York, and he'll hand it back over to his partner in Kerner.
We haven't talked too much about the matchup here as Conley works for the ball. He's got Garrett Coombs on him, who is missed last season due to a knee injury, is fully healthy, for his senior year.
Oh, nice.
He's a Division I commit to St. Joseph's, and he's doing a great job of putting the clamps on Conley. Conley's kind of the quarterback for the Crusader offense, and we haven't called his name much.
Weiss had a nice save inside and taken back the other way. Crusaders, that goal sprung them a little life here. They're starting to get some more offensive time. Conley will hold. And he'll move left. 4:34 to go. Crusaders with 16 shots on goal. Bengals at 13.
And you could see how aware Beckham is on defense of that matchup. Conley had the short stick for a moment, and Coombs was calling to get back to that matchup.
That shot just goes over the crossbar and over Weiss and out of bounds, but Crusaders will still hold on to it. Here's a shot that just missed the net and goes left and out of bounds once again.
And you can see they're running a little bit of what's called big little behind the goal, trying to free up Conley from that matchup with Coombs.
Weiss gets a stick on that one and deflects that one out of bounds. And just like that, all it took was the goal by Johnsky to kind of give a little momentum now to the Crusaders and starting to get a couple shots on goal.
Yeah, it is so much a game of momentum. And sometimes, obviously the goals are the best place to stop that momentum, but sometimes a save or a takeaway on defense will kind of stem, the tide of the momentum. And really, I talk so much to my players about stacking plays. Like a goalie makes a save. Okay, let's clear it. Okay, let's possess it. Let's get into our offense. Let's punctuate it with a goal. And that's what Gibbons just did to get their 7th goal.
And that one goes out of bounds.
It's a real heads-up play by the Beckham player on the sideline of not overrunning that play and stepping out of bounds, in which case the ball would have gone to White.
Trying to cut this one inside. I got a stick in there and a whistle. And it'll go the other way.
That's a play by Wyatt Coombs in the invert. He elects to go underneath on that dodge and forces him into the crease. And here's Leonard on the clear with some pressure from the long pole.
And nearly stolen away.
Leonard's an absolute spark plug for Gibbons. Just a team favorite. I had a chance to coach him for a few summers, and his teammates love him and his work ethic. He does all the dirty work between the lines. Had a big hit earlier that really, was that juice play that really got the Crusaders going. A little flip play.
And that one just goes just above the crossbar, out of bounds.
Knowing Chip Mayer, the Crusaders offensive coordinator, that's a designed look out of the two-man game. Great save by Weiss.
On a shot there by Johnsky, and just goes out, and they'll retain possession again.
That's what I was just talking about, stacking plays. Like, great save, get your team hyped up on the sideline, but Beckham turns it right back over, and that can have the exact opposite effect of, the juice play. Can really take the wind out of your sails.
Here's a shot. And just out, so all it took was one goal by the Crusaders to get that momentum back, and they have really controlled it since then with just under 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. Here's Kerner now, and that one goes out of bounds in the shot. Numbers starting to pile up here now for the Crusaders at 22 now to the Bengals 13.
Kerner probably wants that one back. Needed to turn the corner on the finish. Got the step on his man. Great little
high danger shot,
game.
Scores. Trevor Cooling will extend the lead once more for the Crusaders.
This is the second time out of this little two-man look on the inbounds that the Crusaders have scored. And this is what good teams and good offenses do. They find all different ways to score goals. Man up, all even, inbounds play, transition. And that's 2 goals. A little bit part of the difference, the 3-goal difference, that just came off of some of the two-man inbounds work of the Crusaders. Cooling with a very heads-up play, a little stop and go, what we call kind of like a fly-by pick.
When you sit there as a coach, when they're in alone like that right there inside for a high-danger opportunity, I mean, you can see right there where Cooling just kind of waited just a second to kind of sort of freeze the goaltender a second. Those are the type of things where they don't just shoot just immediately. Try to just delay it a little bit. If you don't feel the pressure and try to take the shot, is that more something you try to coach yourself?
Yeah, and I think it comes with reps and time, and sometimes players. This is what I was talking about earlier in the game. Sometimes when middies get around the goal, they're not as skilled or used to being that close to the goal. But Cooling's a heady, experienced player, and just takes his time. You always have more time than you think, as a finisher.
Battleford trying to cup it up. Weiss will be able to locate that one, and almost a little bit of a lazy dish out, but they're able to get it out. And a whistle is called, and I believe it is a timeout.
That's a good timeout
taken out by
Coach
the Bengals.
Farragon. Just trying to settle his boys. They've gotten some good stops. This goal came on the heels of a great save by Weiss in goal, but a turnover in the clear. And here they were on the verge of turning it over again.
So go ahead and put that at 49.4 to go. 8-5 is your score. And take a moment to talk about your Bay Hackle Sports Game of the Week. It is presented by Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliances. And by Acosta Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. And by the Downer Law Firm. Call your hometown legal team. And don't forget, fans, coming up this Tuesday, Sun Valley versus Porter Ridge. Girls soccer, you can find that here on Bay Hackle Sports TV, or take our scan right here to go ahead and set your reminder on your phone. 7 p.m. Tuesday night, Sun Valley, Porter Ridge, girls soccer. 8-5 is your score here. 49.4 to go here in the third quarter of play. And after the Bengals got it within one at the break, it's been all Crusaders here in this third quarter.
And I like this call by Coach Farragon out of the huddle. Not overthinking it. Just give the ball to your best player, Ryan McCarthy, or what I've seen to be your best player today, and let him clear the ball.
Coming out of a timeout like that, is it just more just to calm your players down, to try and get something, a play set up, to try and get that momentum back? Or is it, like I said, just a full-on, hey, guys, just take a break a second, let's go ahead, let's reset a little bit?
I think a little bit of both. It's there are times as a coach you don't want to take a timeout, but you need to. You want to keep that. If this does go down to the wire, you want to have that timeout in your back pocket. But they were struggling to clear the ball, so I think it was a smart timeout. And then you set something up to get, a goal on the board, hopefully, in the last 29 seconds, now 5 seconds.
Trying to get the last shot. It's McCarthy. Can he get it off? He has two already. And a nice save there by Alexander. So Alexander will make the save of McCarthy as he was trying to get his third of the day. Comes up short. 8-5 your score. Eight-5 your score. Crusaders on top here at Kepper Stadium for the Champions Challenge presented by the Wounded Warriors Project here at Charlotte Catholic High School. Glad to have you here with us alongside Tim Price. I'm Ford Martin on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. And just as the third quarter ended, the Bengals will take possession here with McCarthy now, who already has a few goals this afternoon.
And McCarthy with the hat trick, and along with him, I think the story of the game for Beckham has been Flynn Wilson winning that first face-off. Crusaders threw out their traditional face-off man, Aiden York, not electing to.
He got it in.
Yeah.
Just snuck it across Alexander. And now, after not getting a goal in the third quarter, the Bengals come right back and get it within two, and that's a big one.
Yeah, that's, winning the island. The island in lacrosse is, you hear anywhere from 5-5 or 7-7, 7 yards off the pipe, 7 yards up the field. And for Beckham's Bear Hankins, I think his second point of the game had an assist earlier.
Here at midfield, they'll take this one up and battle for it. Crusaders had it. Still a scramble.
And this time it was
take over.
It was DeBender taking the face off. So Crusaders going at Flynn Wilson by committee, and there's a timeout.
So a timeout is going to be taken there by Gordon Galloway. So that'll be one with 11:05 remaining, and I guess you got to say right here, if you're Parker Farragon and the head coach for Lucy Beckham, not after having all the momentum on their side, obviously stalled there because of halftime, but then not getting a goal the entire third period, coming back out in the first possession of the fourth to get it back within 2. That's a big one there to start the fourth quarter.
And I think that's what Coach Galloway sensed for the Crusaders and why he took that timeout. With 11 minutes on the clock, people might say, well, what's the urgency? Why? Coaches are in the seat that they're in. They're in the position that they're in because they sense, when play is important, when possession is important. So I like that timeout. They want to counter the goal by Beckham. They want to value this possession in the middle of the field. So I'm sure Chip Mayer, offensive coordinator for the Crusaders, is in the huddle right now, and he's going to something that is kind of bread and butter, for the Crusaders. Probably something a little bit of set or matchup, probably involving Conley, probably involving Dolan, to get a goal in this possession and get it back to 3. A lot more breathing room with that 3-goal lead than 2, especially when the opponent is winning faceoffs.
11:05 to go. 8-6 your score. Cardinal Gibbons on top.
From a
Gibbons
coaching standpoint,
I
would love to see this guy right here. Brown Parker showed a real flash early, I think, with the first goal of the game. I'd like to see him get going. He's drawing a short stick for the most part. Although, again, it looks like Beckham is dropping into a zone, little 3-3 zone.
Johnsky, who has a goal tonight.
And if I'm Crusaders, I take my time here. Time is on your side. If Beckham wants to play a zone, ooh.
And goes off the pipe. And they'll take back over possession, but that one goes out of bounds. And now the Cardinal Gibbons will take over.
It's kind of been the story of the second half for Beckham. They make a play on the defensive end, or in that case, they get the favor of the pipe, but they just can't clear the ball.
You hear that one from up here.
Yeah.
So clings that one off the pipe. Nice shot. Oh, what a save inside on the high danger opportunity. So Weiss will make the save on that one, and back the other way comes the Bengals. They streak across with Pritchett.
Yeah, Jonesky just going to work on the short stick D mid for Beckham.
A hard shot there, trying to lower the shoulder right there. As you saw Constable, as he tried to go right after Johnsky, and a tussle here is a hard hit down, and it looks to be Trevor Cooling that's down. He'll favoring that right hand.
And that's exactly what it looks like. And he'll go right to the cooler for some ice.
As you take his right glove off, a couple guys will check on him. As the refs here will talk a little bit about for a second here to see if everything is okay. Looks to be. And not on our screen, but the goaltender of Schwartz will walk over with Cooling to the far side on our right side as they walk back over, and he's just kind of try to walk it off here a little bit after that one. So 9:24 to go, 8-6.
That kind of says it all about Schwartz right there, being the first one to Cooling as he comes off the field, the kind of leader and competitor that he is. out of the game for the second half, but still very much in the game as a leader and a communicator.
Try to reach back out for that pass. It is Dolan and holds back out for Conley. Dolan. Inside, here's a shot, and save is made by Weiss. Couldn't find the ball there, but they were able to pick that one up. Weiss will toss this one back out. Nice pass. Kicks the one back over to Gallo.
Yeah, and that was a great grab by Gallo. But again, if you're Beckham, you don't play a zone unless you have a goalie who can make some saves, and Weiss has risen to the challenge here, basically robbing Cardinal Gibbons on the last two possessions, and then before that, again, getting the favor of the pipe. And the Crusaders just mishandling the ball. Maybe a little bit of fatigue setting in.
Manuel there lost it, was able to challenge that one back and get it. And they'll take back possession here, trying to extend their lead.
I would say, having seen and played against and coached a lot of players from Cardinal Gibbons in the past, they're not quite as deep as they have been in past years. Maybe that's starting to show with a little bit of fatigue.
Bengals now trying to get it within one, and a save is made by Alexander. A lot of back and forth play now here. Back the other way is Leonard.
And that's a tough possession for Beckham, lasting all of maybe 8 seconds. Not what they want on the sideline as they inch closer to Cardinal Gibbons. I know if the defenders and midfielders, could talk to the attack right now, they would implore them to hold the ball, let them get their breath here a little bit.
Johnsky over for Kerner. Tried to a touch pass, it scores! Brown Parker gets that one past Weiss, Weiss was under duress there for a while and making a lot of big saves. Can't stop this one in the slot and trickles that one past and extends the lead for the Crusaders to 3 at 9-6.
Yeah, I love Brown Parker's ability to finish, with the left hand. Very similar to his first goal, which came off of a dodge. Here he has that little leaner, that little drop of the shoulder, that gets the goalie dipping low, and then he finishes high. And if Brown Parker didn't make that catch, Brady Dolan was curling right behind him, looking for the same opportunity. Be interesting to see Beckham with the ball now, but when they go back on defense, to see if they stay in that zone.
We'll see how the Bengals respond here. Hankins now. Back behind net as they try and pass this one back out with Constable.
Now Hankins matched up with a short stick here. They've got both short stick pulled behind Johnsky as well.
Just under 6 to play. Takes one back out, tries to get it back out, and just got a stick in there. Runs him over, power drives. It looks as if it was Denny, make that Constable that was knocked over, but able to get back on his feet, and they'll hold possession, but a whistle here, but no, everything appears to be all right. Is back out McCarthy with 5:42 to go. Shots 28-16 in favor of the Crusaders.
And I think for Beckham to get back in this game and, get a win here tonight, or at least be in the position, their attack really has to step up. And the Beckham defender or attackman in danger of being out of bounds there, but it goes back to them. because if I'm on the Crusader sideline, I'm just telling my defense, number 9.
Score!
Number 9 does not score, but they leave him alone.
Austin Constable now.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was Constable. I thought that was McCarthy.
As Constable took that over and flings this one out. Alexander couldn't flash the foot out in time and gets that one past, and they get it within 2 once again with 5:10 to play.
Yeah, Beckham had limited time out on this field to warm up, but it looks like Constable has figured out how to shoot the ball on this surface pretty well. Both of his goals have come off of medium to high bounce. Big face-off by Wilson. They've got to get it loose.
5:01 to play. McCarthy kind of using that speed to get past.
And I think Constable on that last goal probably breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief, since he was the one to kind of go really early in the possession and take the shot prior. But these are young guys in a big game wanting to make plays, so you really can't blame them for, taking the opportunity that he had earlier. And as we kind of come down to the stretch, it's 9-6 on the screen, but it's 9-7 on the scoreboard. I think, as a coach, this is why you come to an event like this.
Yeah.
To play in a close game against another state champion caliber team, out-of-state opponent. It's a non-conference, I use the term with my players, house money. This is a non-conference opponent. Like, nothing to lose here. Just cut it loose and have fun and learn, become playoff ready.
Here's Constable, who had the goal just moments ago. Constable shy. That one goes wide.
That's one of these shots that's kind of in the last 10 years of lacrosse, this short angle shot where they're practically behind the goal. A lot of attackmen have fallen in love with that shot. As a coach and offensive coordinator, don't love it.
Constable, who falls down to the ground with Cooling right over the top of him. I'm trying to say that the Crusaders are trying to say that he was trying to go for the ball. They didn't like him standing over him, so how do you feel about something like that, where they're kind of standing over him, something like that? The officials said they didn't like that, so what's your thoughts on something like that?
Yeah.
As a goal scorer, and gets it within 1. I believe that is going to be Nolan Elwood.
Yeah, that's a name we haven't called yet. Young player for Beckham with the jump shot.
Oh, what a shot.
And again, just, the reason you're here, get your players experience in a big game against a quality opponent. And Elwood rising to the challenge there. Just a sophomore.
.302 to go.
Nick Leonard doing Nick Leonard things, coming up with the ground ball on the wing, very timely. And that's one thing we really haven't talked about, with all the talk of the face-off play, is the wing play. Face-offs are, when we work at Ardrey Kell on face-offs, we obviously work on them individually, but we also work on wing play and 3-on-3 face-offs. We work on whole team face-offs, 10-on-10. That's kind of a misconception about face-offs, that it's like one guy doing the work, and there you see it's really a team effort.
Would you think it's a big possession here for the Crusaders here?
Yeah, and no rush for them, no shot clock here. They've got the clock on the side. Beckham looks to be still packed into that zone, and that's what they want, to try and throw through the zone. Good timeout by coach.
That's what I was going to ask you there. With no shot clock right there, does it make sense to just keep the full 2 minutes and just pass it as much as you can.
Yeah, because, there is a threat of getting a stall put on you, but if they're in a packed-in zone, the refs are going to be slow because, you've got to go out and play the ball defensively to earn that stall call. So if I was Gibbons there, I just pull out and I just, hold the ball and force them out of the zone. Clearly, they don't feel comfortable in this matchup playing man-to-man, so force them to play man-to-man.
And I look right there at the last goal, or excuse me, one of the goals we've seen here tonight. So now in this timeout, 2:02 to go, the Bengals are down 1. What are you saying to your players in the huddle right here? Is this one of the situations where you want to take a shot early, or you want to wait until you see the perfect spot? Because obviously you might get deflection, get a second opportunity, get a shot. But what you don't want to do is get the Crusaders back, take up more time down here on this side.
Well, I think the first thing they're talking about is that Beckham has to clear the ball, to get the offensive possession. The timeout was called, in their defensive end, which is, one of the nuances of the high school game. You can call a timeout anywhere on the field, unlike college lacrosse, where it's got to be across the offensive timeline. So Beckham's got to clear the ball first. And they've struggled at times to do that tonight. And then once they clear the ball, I say, play at regular tempo. Play at the tempo you've been playing. I don't think they're going to run it down, too far. You want to let them play at their regular pace. But definitely look for McCarthy. If they get possession here, I would look to get McCarthy the ball. He's got a pole on him, but get a pick for him and try and change that matchup.
1:42 to go. Bengals get set up here. Here's a shot. Score!
There he is.
McCarthy! His 4th goal tonight, and it's a big one. And they tie it up with 1:39 to go.
And again, that one from deep with the left hand. We've seen both hands, from McCarthy tonight. We've seen him able to shoot the ball on the run as well as with his feet set.
So now with 1:37 to go, did that catch the Crusaders a little by surprise, them taking a quick shot like that and not trying to set things up?
It sure looked like it did. It sure looked like it did, and from the distance, that he pulled up from. And now Flynn Wilson becomes an even more important piece of the puzzle here.
Flynn Wilson's shot. That one's deflected. And it's McCarthy now trying to go for possibly number 5. McCarthy's shot. That one's saved by Alexander.
Yeah.
Now a big possession here by the Crusaders.
So
Can they get something going?
Just the difference of seconds, I would have said, let's possess.
Stolen away. Taken up by Leland. 1:15 to go. Can they get something here? Constable.
And Constable's got a short stick. And they get
Constable
that.
shot. Oh, he was streaking across just inside, and a whistle.
Yeah, great call. Did get into the crease there, yep.
So the clock is stopped with 1:03 remaining, and we got a player down. I'm not exactly sure who that is. That's Brady Dolan, possibly. We don't want to speculate, but
that's on the defensive. I want to say that's maybe Conway Kelly, down 34, perhaps.
And I believe it is, yes.
Yeah, he's got to come off. He's waving off, but at this point, if he's gone down and coaches or trainers have come on the field, he's got to go off at least until a second ticks off the clock.
So maybe for the time being, it looks like Noah Wright might come in here. So here we go. 1:03 to go.
I'm not sure, but I believe Beckham has a timeout left. And Cardinal Gibbons has none.
Trying to get that midfield and taken down to the ground.
That's going to be a flag.
Yeah, and they are going to call it there. Yeah. There it is. Taken down by 3 defenders with 55.4 to go. And a flag, and that is a big one.
Absolutely, and I get wanting to make a play, but one of the rules as a coach that I have is that attackmen just can't take penalties. We want you to ride hard We want you to make plays in that end of the field, but you can't have penalties.
So they'll talk this one over here.
I think it's probably just going to be a push or a hold with possession.
So are we going to see a man up here? Let's have a full timeout, and it's going to be called here by the Crusaders. So with that flag and what we saw, is that a man-up situation that we'll see for the Crusaders here late?
Yeah, something had to be called there. I think they minimized it by calling, the 30-second penalty as opposed to something more severe. It probably looked a little more like a football, like a tackle, there. But I think they either went with, like I said, a push or a hole. But that'll fill this man-up situation for Gibbons. Will fill, close to the remainder of the game. And I think also important here, let's take advantage of the man-up situation, but also let's not let Beckham have the ball back for the remainder of the game. So if we don't score in the man-up, let's at least possess the ball to take the last shot. That's really important in this situation.
So 9-9. 55.4 to go. And a big possession by the Crusaders here late.
And other than, it looks like maybe it was a loose ball. So the flag was picked up. There's no foul on the play, just possession awarded to Gibbons. And they'll play 6-on-6, which I like. Let's end this game all even.
So here we go. Johnski to try and take the lead with 50 left to play. Connolly inside. He'll dish that one back out as Dolan will spin out of it. Cuts back is Connolly. Connolly now, 35 to play.
And Beckham back in the zone.
Dolan shot, score! Kerner puts it in the back of the net with 31.4 to play.
That was Cooling.
No, that's going to give it to Cooley.
Yeah, Cooling with the goal. Just catch and shoot, quick release, big goal.
So Trevor Cooling.
And Dolan playing the role of feeder, usually the shooter.
And now big face-off. McCarthy can't find it. Picked up. They're trying to take this one back out, trying to get the ball out, able to keep it in. Big possession here as they challenge for it. Taken up there again is Conley. Out of bounds hard. Clock still running, and now at 12.4 it stopped.
And Cardinal Gibbons has got to be careful there that they don't get a delay of game. You see the player, after they lose possession, roll the ball to the sideline. You just got to drop that ball, especially in this situation. To go man down over something like that would be catastrophic with this time and score.
Big discussion here to see who retains possession. And it's going to stay here with Gibbons now. So now, as a defensive coach, you just go attack.
Yeah, you got to
attack it.
Double the ball. The goalie will be out very likely. He's off screen, but he'll be shutting off as a defender. And actually, no, they're not doubling the ball. But they've got Coombs on the ball, feel confident. Now they send
time
the double.
back on. He's going to run as far away as he can as possible with 12 seconds to play. Got to get this one out. They get it out in time. 9 seconds to play. Got to go quick. Gets it back out inside. Costa puts a shot on goal. He scores!
Oh
with 2.9 to play! Oh my goodness! They're going to give that to Constable. A desperation shot Gets it past Alexander.
Just
and scores!
Backhand dump into the cage, taking a page out of hockey with dump and chase. As McCarthy sent that the length of the field. Won't get an assist, but very aware of time and score there. Very heads-up play by McCarthy.
My goodness, with 2.9 to play. And
no foul here.
And that will do it for the fourth quarter. We're going to overtime, and everybody take a deep breath. Overtime coming up, tied at 10. Back here at Kepper Stadium for the Champions Challenge presented by Wounded Warrior Project, and what a game. what a game we have here as we head to overtime, and we'll let you break down some of the overtime rules to the fans that
so this face-off will be huge. 4-minute overtime period. First goal wins, sudden victory. Two timeout for each team in the overtime period, so expect a quick timeout with whoever wins possession here. It'll come right there.
And get it. Oh, it knocks over hard. Taking a shot, falling back down there.
No timeout called. And you see Gibbons goes ahead. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they were calling for it, but that was a situation where, especially when your long pole picks it up off the wing like that, timeout's got to come right away just to preserve the possession.
Let me ask you, going back to that last second shot right there, were you a little surprised by the lack of players that are really surrounding the ball right there, and the goaltender Alexander coming out as far as he did to challenge that, and not kind of staying on goal?
And I think if he had it to do over again, he would have stayed home. With two defenders in the neighborhood, it wasn't needed for him to come out there. But again, I've said it a few times tonight. This is a big game. Big environment, and guys are just trying to make plays. And I think Alexander thought he could make a play on the ball and just ice the game. And Kosovo just made a bigger play, with the pickup and the backhand, and McCarthy, with the launch of the ball there. There's nothing worse from a coaching standpoint than watching your player run the ball up the field as time expires. And McCarthy understood that.
So here we go. 3:49 left here in overtime. Sudden death. Shots in favor of the Crusaders, 29-20. And here we go.
And Cooling, who scored the 10th goal for Gibbons, has a short stick on him. So they're double polling the midfield, one on Johnski, and looks like
the Bender was out there being challenged. Now here he comes with Brown Parker.
Yeah, I like that
so
matchup.
He's tripped up, trying to get this one back.
And now no timeout.
No,
for
not
Gibbons.
able to get it.
And I would use the timeout right here.
Knights, they do. They get it off in time. They do. And look at the bench as the Bengals will make their way back out. And that bench is pumped. Yeah. They have had an exciting last few minutes.
Davis Evans with a big ground ball pickup on the sideline. And after that opening face-off of overtime, Coach Farragon had that timeout loaded up, ready to go. And see, we haven't mentioned Coach Coach Ehrman, assistant for Lucy Beckham, a real fixture of the Charleston lacrosse community, really commanding the troops in that huddle. Starting again, as we said earlier in the game when they called a timeout in the defensive end, starting with the clear. One, you don't want to turn the ball over here, clearing. Beckham has had some problems in the clearing game tonight. But you also don't want to turn the ball over because you don't want to create an easy goal for Gibbons to end this game.
So here we go. 10-10, overtime.
The other issue here in overtime is like these kids are going to play hard. They're going to sell out for the win. But you've really got to be letting the players know in the huddle, no fouls. We can't foul. We can't go man down. If we're going to lose the game, it's got to be all even. We got to make them earn the goal.
So here comes Weiss as he'll take this one out and give it back over as he will go and find Leland. Now back over alongside. They'll set this one up here with Dick. Got to think McCarthy's going to have a say in who wins this one.
Yeah, and again, I would look to go set a pick and get him matched up with a short stick or get him a little bit of daylight to free his hands.
Hankins, nice spinorama back over. Falls back down, able to hold and stay possession. Runs it back out. Takes his time.
And again, Hankins has a short stick here.
Hankins trying to cut it inside. He had him streaking across. Here's a shot. Score! Griffin Berry, the overtime winner.
What a finish. I'm not sure if we've called Berry's name throughout the game, but he saved the best for last.
Griffin Berry, the golden goal, scores in overtime, and what a win for the Bengals. On life support in the last few seconds, a full field lob to across the field with 2.9 seconds. Constable tied it up at the buzzer. Got it to go through to push it to overtime, and the Bengals score and win 11-10.
Hankins with a gutsy feed there for the winner because that was a tight window that he threw it into.
So 11-10, that's going to do it. What a game. Lucy Beckham takes down Cardinal Gibbons. 11-10 from alongside Tim Price. I'm for Martin saying good night. We'll see you for the next game coming up here on Bay Sports TV.